कल संडे जी आ जाएंगे। Good evening, Chaulish.
Sir, can you start, please?
Good evening, everyone. Chaulish?
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Please share your PowerPoint PPT.
Okay, sir. Okay.
There is some problem in my desktop. I am not able to open. So I am joining in the mobile.
Okay, no issue, sir. Just a minute. I'm taking time. So it is visible to all.
Yeah.
Sir, could you confirm it is moving or not? Actually, no. Sometime.
Yeah. You move.
Yeah, I'm trying, sir. It is moving, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah. Good evening to everyone, and I am very happy to introduce our distinguished speaker for this session, Dr. Chaulesh Kumar. And Dr. Chaulesh Kumar is currently working as a senior scientist in the Division of Fruits and Horticulture Technology at ERI. And he has been actively involved in grape and Goa improvement program, where his contributions have been both innovative and impactful. Notably, he introduced almost around 22 varieties of Goa varieties from USA, 35 genotypes from USA, as well as he played important role in the promotion of 4 Goa varieties and 3 grape varieties, as well as he is working on, he's developed almost some few markers, SSR markers, using advanced library enhancement techniques, especially for the genetic resources of Goa. In addition, he has contributed to the broadening of genetic base of Goa, as well as in the area of grape rootstock improvement, and he has explored the potential of indigenous wild species like Vitis parviflora, and developing the interspecific hybrids in grapes aimed at improving the drought tolerance and resistant to disease such as powdery mildew. And also he has excellence has been for the recognized from ICR-SRF and Inspire Fellowship, and best thesis award from ICR, that is Thurl Award, and Young Scientist Award from Vegidos, the Springer Nature Hub groups they are provided to him, and which so such a rich blend of research and innovations and practical impact. And we are very fortunate to have you today, Chaulesh, and now I warmly welcome.
Thank you so
Welcome
much
you
for
to
your
deliver.
words and
Thank you.
Yeah. Shall I start, sir?
Yeah, you can continue, dear.
Thank you, sir, for giving me opportunity. I just sincere thanks to organizer and dear participants. Just very pleasant evening to each one of you. I'm Dr. Chaules here, working as a scientist and looking particularly the improvement programs, particular fruit improvement programs. So a little bit what I felt, this protected cultivation is a very lucrative, or what I'll say, it is essential for all. Either we'll say for the nursery industry, either for the production sites, and raising the many habit pros in a particularly in a crop improvement or fruit crop improvement. That is important. What I felt, the different production earlier, it was uh, it is a luxury. Earlier it was considered as a luxury, whatever we grow we want, but nowadays it is essential for food security, nutritional security, or of course, whatever then the era of climate change, this we call climate resilience, making our crops or whatever for getting productivity, quality, either for our local consumptions or for the export. We need protected cultivation. Now we realize the important and essentiality of this protected cultivation technology. Of course, I'll say in all of our crops, because in horticulture you will see there is two type of crops. Broadly, you can classify it as a annual or biennial nature, but another one is a perennial nature. And most of the fruit crops are coming as a perennial nature. So earlier we thought the accompanying or cultivating these perennial crops under the protected structure is a bit difficult. But there is a more advancement to developing the varieties, either as a cyan varieties or root stock varieties. So we are come up with those dwarf varieties, and we have made some trials. Still, I will say whatever the work related to the protected cultivation of the fruit crop, it is a nascent stage for the countries like India. But in other countries, whatever the developed country, you will see, you will find many literatures. Of course, that is a need to be explored further for many physiological studies or molecular studies. So here, what I say about the, it is not now as a luxury, but it is a necessity. And of course, if you see the Aryan productions, now we are gaining momentum. And around the globe, it is around, of course, the getting data is difficult for the protected cultivation and including fruits. So area is about 6,23,000 hectares were estimated, and China is the leading for cultivating either for horticultural crops under the protected conditions or our fruit crops. Because China is leading, then European countries is the next one. Spain, Italy, and Greece, they are also exploring equally for many their commercial crops. And we Indians, or you see, as we are lacking, and hardly we are contributing the around 0.5% of the total protected cultivation outputs. So now many government agencies like MIDH, they are contributing for or supporting for constructing or having protected cultivation. So this is the data. Of course, the data is variable, but is FAO data, and that is see the 58% from the China, 10% is Spain, and 8% from Turkey, and 7% United States, and 5% from the Italy, and other countries are contributing for the 12%. So now they realize the importance. Earlier, China, they realize the importance of this protected cultivation. So here, why we are raising, why we need to protected cultivation for the fruit crops, which is really perennial in nature. And of course, it is, in most of the perennial crops are indeterminate in growth. So that is a major problem for protected cultivations. Of course, our all high value crops like vegetables and flower crops, we easily accommodate, and we are getting good, the within season we are harvesting their produce. But in our most of the crops, they're taking at least 12 to 14 months, like papaya and banana. So in that case, it is a difficult, but ultimately we need, actually we are much aware about the climate change, and see the now how climate variability and sudden rain, sudden temperature hike, everything is going sudden, and we are not predicting their actual pattern. That is a feature of the climate change. You can see sudden there will be the temperature is going to below or sub-zero in another India. So particularly I talk about banana. We could not recommend farmers to grow banana in this northern India, and of course for the papaya, there is a sudden frost and many other viral problems which are really affecting this crop. So see here, the yield and quality of the fruit crops is really affected by these climate driven variables, and many pest and disease problems, like you can see many disease and pest and vector-borne viruses. And again, soil salinity and nutrition uptake is a problem. Scorching sun, for getting or having sun is called, and other like hailstorms is another problem for most of our temperate crops, where the sudden hailstorm is there. So whole flowering. During the spring, there is a storm, and then all flower and everything get damaged, or once there will be no fruit, or once fruit will be developed, they are misshapen. So soil moisture fluctuation, of course, drought, and many other aquatic problems are rising, and heavy rainfall. Yeah, I think we are aware how in Maharashtra the grape production is badly hampered by these unexpected rains during the fruit maturity. Once ripening is there, so all berry will be cracked, and there will be infection of the various fungus, and hardly farmer will get income. So the government is supporting a lot to them. Now we are realizing there is urgent need of to do a protected cultivation. And of course, the temperature rising, that is another problem for all, that is affecting the phenology of the our fruit crops. It's starting from the flower bud differentiation to flower development, and later on for flowering, pollinations, fertilizations, and later on fruit retention. Of course, relative humidity, high soil moisture. So various problems are coming that is associated with the developing blight, wilt, and many fungal spot in the fruit crops. Therefore, we realize that these protected cultivations, either it will be fully or partial one, could help us. So in this segment, I'll discuss few of the examples. Of course, we are not doing exactly as a protected cultivation and many research for the protected cultivation, but partly utilizing these techniques for raising our associated with the breeding program. We mostly exploring the semi-protected structures for raising our hybrid progenies for their better survival. We are utilizing, and then we realize this is a fantastic tool to just the people are also utilizing this technique for making speed breeding. So in my coming slides, I'll discuss a few of the examples. So how these protected cultivation is important for the fruit industry. So of course, there is extreme water fluctuation and pest and disease pressures. And just a minute. And within see the how we can maximize efficiency, particularly for the crop yield within a confined space, and tending to the enhancing the productivity. And another is of course now the pesticide is a problem. Okay, so encouraging the growth of high value crop, top quality horticultural produce without any pesticide the residue. So now in most of the European countries, they have very good technique, some biocontrol, but that could be practiced within the protected structure. So improving the propagation planting material for better germination rate and uniformity in the growth of many propagating material. And of course, we raise our quality planting material while using this protected structure. And another is the off-season production. Many of the horticultural crops like vegetable fruit, we can go for off-season production. Like I'll see now we are utilizing partly these protected structure to go for off-season production of grapes in subtropical India, particularly northern India. So now we have ample scope to utilize this one and get the grapes production in the month of June, and another is for in the month of October and November. So we are creating window. Now we are succeeding. Of course, they are coming as in a commercial way. It is waiting, but we are devising technique to do cropping in these 2 months. And of course, whatever we assume, our materials should be free from the insect pest and other diseases under such conditions, because in nurseries some of the materials are very much sensitive for the viruses. So while using these techniques, we are making our mother plants disease free or vector free. So we are assuming to raise the healthy planting materials. So the advantages, these are the advantages. Of course, I'll see here where we could not able to harvest good crop, but using the protected techniques, we can protect our crop. And we of course we increase yield and quality of those produce. Of course, moisture and whatever the nutrient use efficiency we can of course improve. Another is using different biocontrol agents. Okay, so not dependent more on the pesticides, but using biocontrol agent quite feasible under the protected structure. And of course, adaptability and high value production and off-season production could be the advantages for these protected technology. So of course, once we are working for the fruit crop, as per Kumar and co-workers, they define we need larger structures as compared to our normal vegetable crops. So average dimension for the fruit crops is a 10-meter wide, long, 30 meter, and 5-meter gutter height, and 6 to 6.5-meter ridges height are they have mentioned. Of course, we need for some of the perennial crops like apple, peaches, whatever we are growing, we need some bigger structure than whatever we are using for floricultural crops or vegetable crops. Here, of course, we are much aware about the cladding material. Different cladding materials are available, and you can see the shade net or insect-proof nets are mostly utilized in case of fruit crops. I think we know about the principle of the greenhouses, passive and active. Whatever the passive, of course, we are not utilizing much energies, okay, or making cooling or exhausting. But we are whatever utilizing, we are moderating the external climate through using cladding or natural ventilations. But in active, of course, some sophisticated things are there. So there is exhaust fan and everything is a sensor-based technology. So accordingly, we can maintain each and every variable of the environment inside the protected structure. Of course, there is many shapes. And of course, the factors, that is we always rely on the low cost techniques. Okay, so now whatever we are preparing some low cost structure, so it could be for the larger area, the farmers could employ those techniques. And of course, there is the low, medium, and high cost are there, and different cladding materials and utility. Of course, we are utilizing for the different purpose as per our need. So transmissions of the light from polythene, there is the highest one. So you can see here, these are the different types of protected structure, some lath house, walk-in tunnel, shade house, net house, glass house, and polyhouses. So these were utilizing for the different purpose, either for the nursery or raising the plants. So it depends on their suitability for the particular crop, and of course for either for nursery or for production. So here, low cost, high tech greenhouse, and medium cost. As per our choice, we are devising our structures. Coming into the fruit crops, how these the factor involved in the protected cultivation of the fruit crops. So these are the temperature, humidity, solar radiation, and CO2 concentrations. So all factor means collectively or individually affect the phenology of the fruit crops. Another is how we can manage. So there is a planting system, then planting system and substrate, what substrate we are using. And there is of course, substrate. Now people are taking towards the hydroponics and aeroponics. Pollination, of course, our most of the crops are cross-pollinate in nature. So effective pollinations for getting good yield is essential. So therefore, the pollination or pollinator management is very, very important. I will show you one slide how the different techniques were followed to maintain the good pollinations. Training and pruning, that is important because our crop is perennial. So the crops which permit the pruning, and another is a training is important to train within the structure, and another is a plant material, what cultivar and root stock. Of course, we could not say within the crop every variety is suitable for the protected cultivation. Of course, we do experimentations to see the feasibility, how we can grow under the protected cultivation of the particular variety and particular root stock of the fruit crops.
So please unmute yourself.
Charles?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Please continue.
Charles, unmute yourself.
I don't know, sir, how it is happened.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So shall I start from previous slide or here only?
So last slide.
Last slide. Okay. Okay, madam. So these are the factor, I think, just the temperature, humidity, and solar radiation, CO2 concentration. They are impacting a lot to our food crops and all the crops. So accordingly, as per the requirement of the crop, we move, we moderate those things, and we fit according to the requirement of the crop. Okay. So the temperature and of course humidity. Once there is a building humidity, many other problems are arising like fungal problems. And another is a planting system and substrate. Now in many crops, many perennial crops like grapes, people are trying hydroponics to harvest quality produce within the protected structure. Pollinations, most of the fruit crops require cross pollinations for better yield and quality. So therefore, maintaining good pollinations, maintaining pollinators is important. So there is a one slide where the different differences is there, how the alternate strategies, and they're talking about the different pollinator to be maintained for the better pollination and fertilization in the fruit crops. So training and pruning is essential. Of course, we require pruning sensitive crops. So therefore, we can easily manage their size inside and promote fruiting. And another important is the selection of the cyan varieties and root stocks. So different varieties, of course, we prefer dwarfer variety. So the in many crops, many fruit crops, the dwarfer root stock and cyan varieties are known. Of course, their experimentations with a different type of protected cultivation is essential. So, of course, we should categorize our crop and we should know the characteristics. What characteristics should be fit for the protected cultivation in our fruit crops? So, the rapid grower. Some of our fruit crops are rapid grower, and within a year we are able to get crops. So, like banana, papaya, and strawberry. These are the crop, and now people are going in a commercial way to go for their production particularly. Another is the dwarf characteristics of the fruit crops like pineapple and other dwarf varieties like in many crops in apple, M9 using as a root stock, and amrapali as a cyan dwarfing mango cultivar. So many varieties, many root stocks, cyan are known, we are knowing for their dwarfing. So these are the suitable to grow within the protected structure. So another is a good response to training and pruning, and of course chemical regulation. So our crops should be easily manipulated either by the training and pruning, and other thing is the chemical ones. So we can get their fruiting and yield within the protected structure. Some single stem fruits are amenable, that is a papaya and banana, and branch species with dwarf characteristics is essential. And another is a regular bearer and higher yielder, because some of the crop is tend for the irregular or alternate bearing habit. So we could not suggest these kind of varieties for the protected cultivations. And another is a sustain under the abiotic and abiotic stresses. Another is a having short duration and early maturity type. So this could be a suitable characteristics for growing or choosing a fruit crop variety for the protected cultivation. Some of the variety that Galan have mentioned, some of the varieties like banana in the Nendran, Robusta, Grand Nene, Dwarf Cavendish, papaya, of course, Pusha Nanna, Solo, Sunrise, and mango, Amrapali, Sensation, Kit, Hayden, Irwin, and Citrus Kino, Queens, Spanish, and Keisha, Pineapple, and grapes, Kyoho, Delaware, Muscat of Alexandra, Black Magic, and Victoria. For lemon, Lisbon, and apple, Sugaru and Raritan were just they are founding suitable to grow under the protected cultivation. So, of course, we are utilizing for three purposes: nursery and propagation. Another is a fruit production. Another is for improvement side. So here I'm describing some of the nursery and fruit production examples while using different techniques. So whatever earlier in nursery industry, particularly in the fruit crop, they are exploring these important component protected cultivation for the raising the quality planting material. Earlier, people thought sednate, then different structure polyhouses, and another is somewhere the glass houses. But in many of the our government and private nursery, the sednate houses, polyhouses is a more common. They are raising plants in a huge number using these protected structures, and whatever we find the growth and their development is very luxurious under these protected conditions. And whatever we are trying different propagation methods, uh, particularly if you see the for grafting and budding, where the particular temperature, humidity is required. So under such conditions, we are getting good success rate, and we realizing this structure is essential for supplying the quality planting material to the fruit industry. So these combination of protected structure, mechanization facility, and modern nursery techniques like root trainer, plastic pro trays, root media, water training, and water retaining colloids means that their substrates, quality material, and also provide resilience. So whatever we are raising the plants, we are protecting these quality planting material from the other disease and pest. So there is one examples you can see here in Mamta and co-workers. They found that using the sednet, particularly red sednet, that the success percentage and graft survival was found under the red colored sednet. Another example by Anushma and co-worker, they found that variable rates of graft success percentage, and another is their survival percentage were significantly influenced by whatever the colored sednet we utilize, either white, black, red, blue, and green. So how these are minutely affecting actually the graft success and survival percentage of the plants. Another is a tunnel production. It is a low-cost structure. So the high tunnel and low tunnel is common. And these high tunnel production is used for seasonal extension in strawberry production and earlier yields, particularly low the temperature where is a lower or distinct winter. So that protect the crop from the rain and hail that could damage fruit, as well as pathogen that lead to the unmarketable fruit. A low tunnel, of course, see that is covering the canopy of the crop, and just cover the canopy with thin plastic supported by wire or pipe frames. So generally it is increasing internal temperature, and growing day neutral strawberry in low tunnel extended the harvest to 9 months with fewer disease-free fruits. So whatever we are getting quality fruit, and see here some misshapen fruits are there, that is due to only the poor pollinations, and that is happened due to the low temperature ultimately. And of course, here see the rain affected the fruits. One is the harvested from the low tunnel, and it is seeing the very good quality. And another is a rain affected fruit. You can see here. So that ultimately increase marketability and profitability to the farmers. Another is a net house and sednet house that is mostly explored in the fruit crops for production system. And of course, these net houses is naturally ventilated and climate controlled. Said net houses are strictly enclosed by agronets or any other woven material to allow required sunlight, moisture, and air to pass through the gaps. These are used to reduce adverse effect of scorching sun and rains. They are used to produce graft sapling and prevent its mortality. For insect control, usually we are opting 25 to 60 maize insect-proof nets are used. So most of the vectors, particularly about 50 maize size, is used to control the vector like flies. So whatever our crops like papaya, banana, and citrus that is mostly affected by the virus, so we can easily prevent from those infections. A net with 40 and higher maize are sufficient to control most of the flying insect. Core and co-worker revealed that the plant under the net house showed an increase in the vegetative growth, flowering, fruiting, yield parameter of papaya with maximum height of the plant, number of the leaves of the plant, leaf area, number of hermaphrodite flower per plant, fruits per plant, and yield ultimately. So the in every experiment, whatever we are getting, we are observing the yield parameter that is significantly improved. So here the temperature once in for papaya cultivations, whatever the temperature is a major culprit that hamper the papaya plant's growth and development and ultimately the fruiting. So in most of the subtropical conditions, we could not recommend, like in northern India, there is the low temperature during the winters. So whatever these protected cultivation technologies is improving or or we are overcoming those barriers like temperature and other vector-borne problems. So the temperature once going below to 20 degrees Celsius, carpeloidy, there is a the flower or sex reversal problem is there usually that is happened with papaya. So carpeloidy, so carpel, there is the turning, the fruits are turning like, see the cat face like appearance is there, that is usually considered as a malformed fruit. Another is the whatever the sugar concentration, because papaya once they are doing good tastes, then there is a good market value for fresh consumptions. So the sugar concentration is badly hampered by having low temperature, and at temperature below 12 to 14 degrees Celsius for several hours, growth and productions are severely affected. So the papaya is the crop that is affected by the frost in northern part of the India, which can be protected under the greenhouse cultivation. You can see here how this frost is affecting the plant. So see here, there is an experiment by Prakash and co-workers, and they explained how these polyhouse cultivation of the papaya is a really good for getting good yield, fruit quality, and of course rid of from many biotic stresses incidents. So here you can clearly see that how the days taken for the first flowering significantly reduced, plant height at a flowering, see the good growth is there, and number of leaves of per flowering, petiole length, fruiting zone, plant height, days taken for fruit maturity, and fruit retention. Ultimately, you can see in percentage. So see 46.23% in case of polyhouse. And see here the physical composition of fruit and another yield of the pusan and papaya. You can see here the fruit weight. Of course, it is lower than the open conditions, but you can see the number of fruits per plant that is just double, and the length and breadth. You can see the yield 34.56 kg per plant in polyhouse, and see how the increase the yield per plant, that is and another is a pulp weight and peel weight. So these polyhouse cultivation of papaya under northern India, where the distinct winter is there, where we are getting good yield and productivity. And another big support is that the fruit firmness, TSS, tetrable acidity, and ascorbic acid content. Another example, of course, the mite and mealy bug is a little bit, or it is the infestation is increasing in the polyhouse. But see the papaya ring spot virus incidence, that is a zero under the polyhouse conditions. And of course, the collar rot and stem rot incidence is decreased significantly. So banana actually, this is a tropical fruit, And of course, in northern India, there is another limitation of the low temperature. Low temperature, and another is a wind velocity. Once the wind velocity is going beyond 30 kilometers per hour, then that velocity is detrimental for the banana plantations. And of course, temperature going below 15 degrees Celsius, then again it is a detrimental for the banana cultivation. Now you will see the banana farming and shade net protected cultivation. So the cladding material is made of shade net of a different shading that is varying from 8 to 20% with lifespan of 5 to 7 years. That is a particularly preventing sun scorching, fruit scalding, marginal leaf desiccation, and fruit malformation. So the propping system, now you see in propping, farmers are ultimately what they are investing another bamboo and other thing to do propping, means providing supporting to their banana plantations, because there is a heavy bunch and the plant is having fibrous root system, so it is easily fall down due to wind or due to the heavy bunch weight of the banana. So there is some devising in a shade net structure. There is a propping system with wire that is made up of GI wire. As the plants approach maturation, they become heavy and hence need propping and avoid losing. Internal structure has a propping system made with a GI wire ropes capable of bearing heavy crop load. Therefore, it is a preventing losing. And whatever the monitoring about thrips, aphid, weevils, beetles, and nematode are very, very easily. And of course, there is a disease like Sigatoka and leaf stick disease are well managed with the controlled conditions. And whatever the benefit, early maturity, shorter maturity period, the structure can make 5 cycles, of course, and export quality fruits. About whatever we are harvesting, about 70% of the produce is export quality. So that is the biggest advantages while going for the protected cultivations. There is many references. There is Soko and Ixtine and Jobber, Fred and Gobuk and Pekmezi. They reported there is a significantly improvement in the yield contributing characters, and ultimately the improved yield and productivity were noticed in case of protected cultivation of the banana. So all they have reported for bunch weight and finger size, and of course there is a 53% increase in yield under the protected cultivations. Hand count, finger count, bunch weight, and average annual yield is significantly increased under these protected cultivation of the banana. Here there is some comparative table. So you can see here yield component were found to be better in greenhouse produced fruit crops as compared with open field production. Physical fruit parameters were found to be better for the greenhouse produced fruit compared to those observed in open produce. Wide greenhouse need cover for the growth of here for the some mango, okay, for cultivar kit and showed higher yield. And here you can see for the banana, there's a comparison of open field and protected banana cultivation for some morphological and yield feature under the subtropical conditions. So you can see here how the protected cultivations banana, there is a bunch weight and days from shooting to harvest is significantly reduced. And you can see the pseudostem height, pseudo circumstances, total number of leaves, and here bunch style circumstances, hands number and finger numbers, these are improved. So I think we always watch these picture, okay, in either Facebook or somewhere else. We are getting updated. However, I could not get the all our informations how they are doing the cultivation of the mango, particularly very premier variety that is Miyazaki from Japan, and of course egg of sun you see here. Of course, whatever the pictures they share, there is a complete indication they are growing this mango under the protected structure. And of course there is some regulations of pruning and plant bioregulators. I could not get all technical information, only that is a very glimpses only. So see here, this plant, each plant, see how they manage the plant within a protected structures with sufficient supports, and particularly whatever the fruits are there, that is a nated one. So Miyazaki mangoes from that is a very premium variety. You see the people are paying dollars of rupees, but of course that is for some fruits only. But we could not expect for the all the produce which they are getting very high premium in lakhs or dollars. And this is a poly greenhouse to get premium quality and maximum productions. And of course, see how the bagging. But see, this technology is so lucrative, and that is a lucrative for the farmers, for growers. See how they could get premium quality mango fruits with premium prices. So of course, pomegranate is another important crop for us, and that is an important nutraceutical crop. And here, how the benefits we are getting from the protected cultivation of the pomegranate. So here the water use efficiency, and of course the Maharashtra and that regions is exploring this crop at Solapur. So there is a water, we can improve water use efficiency. Another is a hailstorm, another climatic vagaries, and protection from fruit sucking moth. That is an important one that is spoil the crop. Another is a cracking. Fruit croaking and sun scalding is another disorder that could be minimized through using this protected cultivation, and improved yield and quality with high proportion of export grade fruits. A reduced number of crop protection chemical spray, residual incidence, and severity of the diseases were observed while growing these crops. So this is one photographs from NRC pomegranate Solapur. That is a variety Super Bhagwa under 35% shade net house with 40 maize nylon net, that is an insect proof, and height is about 3 meter in. So here you can see colored shade net, how these were used. So colored shade net for the northern India, and that is a particularly for variety Mridula, pomegranate variety Mridula, under semi-arid region of the Punjab. So what they use, colored net represent a new agro technological concept which aim is combining the physical productions together with a different filtration of the solar radiation. Another is a colored nets help in improving canopy, vitality, photosynthesis, improved fruit rate, fruit size, and extended harvest seasons. Photoselective nets influence photosynthetically active radiation transmitted through the canopy, which cause variation in average monthly temperature and humidity. So what they did, so they found that these red shade net house with 50% shading efficiency and 30% of 30-meter height were found best for the growing these Mridula variety under the semi-arid region of the Punjab. So you can easily see the how the fruit weight, fruit length, and whatever the juice quantity, yield, these were significantly improved under these using red shade net house as compared to the control. So another is a quality planting material. I think we know the problem of Tristeza virus and greening in a citrus. That is another the big challenge for the quality citrus production. So citrus Tristeza virus can cause tree decline and semi-peating, resulting in significant loss of yield and productivity. So whatever material we are raising, first we produce these disease-free plant and vector-free plant for these two problems, CTV and greening. So under the insect-proof nest house, we are maintaining our mother plants, and either we are moving for budding or grafting or shoot tip grafting. We utilize those materials for raising the disease-free planting material, or broadly we can say this is a quality planting material. So for raising quality planting materials in citrus or other crops, we use this net proof insect proof net house, so we can easily raise the quality planting materials. And now in the temperate area, of course, the problem is coming. I think this picture could make the actual utility of the how the semi-protected structure or low-cost structure, uh, ut- uh, their utility for getting yield and quality in apples. These are from Himachal Pradesh. How these people are using anti-hail nets in apple. So the anti-hail net is a physical barrier installed over an orchard that is intended to protect the plants against damage by hail, strong winds, birds, and it also reduces sunburn and rosetting, providing better color and skin uniformity in apple. That is important for the marketability. Another protect apple orchard from hail damage, preventing major crop losses, and slightly modify orchard microclimate within the orchard, affecting light, temperature, and humidity around the canopy. So reduces power by about 32%, which changes light availability in the orchard canopy, helps reduce sunburn injury and decrease resulting in skin damages. Ripening period may be slightly delayed under the hail nets. In season with hail storms, orchard without net may lose the entire crop. Earlier, it was a really problematic. So during flowering and later on, the fully damaged to the developing fruits or flowers. But now the using these anti-helnet, the farmers is confident enough to harvest good crop with good quality. So these effective climate risk management practices in apple orchards. So in mainly all our most of the areas where they are growing apples, they're using these techniques or these the semi protected structure, you can say, or the form of the protected structures. So another is a photo-selective colored net on apple orchard. So there are many colored nets are available: white, blue, black, and green. So blue nets produce the highest yield and overall orchard performance in case of apple, followed by black, white, and green nets. So the net modify the orchard microclimate, affecting soil temperature, light quality, humidity, and air temperature. So black, whatever with the black net houses, slightly reduced soil temperature sometime by the up to 5 degrees Celsius as compared to the white nets. And photoselective nets influence light spectral composition with affect physiological process such as photosynthesis and carbohydrate accumulation in the apple plants. Blue nets increase the proportion of blue light and reduce red and far red light, altering the plant light perceptions. And photoselective protective nets can be used in an effective protected cultivation strategy to improve apple productivity and fruit quality. So there are many nets or photoselective nets, colored nets are there. So accordingly, people are trying for different, not only for the propagation. Now people enter to for the production of the many fruit crops. So in peaches, you can see how this technology was utilized, and to main major goal, and in China, what they are putting to harvest date early, they want to capture the market. And when once the price, of course, once we can capture early market, definitely price, their farmers or growers are getting good price of their produce. So the greenhouse type, large span plastic greenhouse, high tunnel are most common in case of peaches, and whatever orientation north south to maximize solar radiations. Another is a ventilation, automated roof and side vents to manage humidity and temperature. Another is a sufficient clearance of the tree canopy. Of course, their regular the whatever canopy management is required. So many countries like Japan, Korea, China, Italy, and Spain, they are using this protected peach cultivation. China is doing approximately 20,000 hectares of the peach cultivations in the different provinces. And major benefits, that is getting precocity, high fruit quality, yield, and market prices, and good plant health suitable for organic cultivations, reduce pesticide uses, and climate adaptations. So basically that will allow the regions where the late spring frost is normally destroy all blossoms in case of peaches. So kiwi fruit equally, that is, the different kind of net were installed in Harvard kiwi fruit orchard, that is in Portugal. There is a photoselective nets with the different shading characteristics can change the quality of solar radiation received by the plants. So that provide controlled temperature, humidity, and light, protecting from the environmental damage, use of controlled irrigation and fertigations. Whatever the results is there, that is a very good growth and canopy development. Another is a photosynthetic and plant vigor and more stable, higher and more stable yield they are getting. And of course, nutrient and water efficiency, use efficiency will be good. And of course, they protect that bacterial blight incidence from pollinate, significantly reduce disease severity, and lower exposure to rain sprays and wind-driven spreads. Improved microclimate help limit pathogen development, reduce overall crop losses. So pearl net outperform yellow and gray net across yield, fruit grade, and disease management, yeah, for the kiwi fruits. So these are rain shelter. Of course, I just earlier explained how these rain. The occasional rains during the fruit maturity in grapes, that is really havoc for grapes. Okay, so now not only for in China, for many table grape production, but now Maharashtra, they are using these rain shelters. Maharashtra grape growers, they are exploring uh, these shelter basically. So polyethylene film roof is built above the grape canopy is helping for means what we'll say these unseasonal rain that is damaging the crop. So the through using this shelter, the crops is protecting, and whatever the other quality traits like level of sugars, soluble solids had been reported to be higher in grapes cultivated under rain shelter compared to those cultivated in the open field. Another important thing is eliminating the incidence of disease such as powdery mildew and downy mildew and botrytis. So these are the major issues with a grape cultivation. Another is a blueberry. So the equally they are getting good results while blueberry were grown in protective environment of high tunnel and black helnet. That is whatever they enable better control of temperature, light, humidity, reduce environmental stress and crop losses, environmental damage from like rain, winds, and temperature extremes. So whatever the growth and fruit characteristic they are opting like higher and more stable yield under protected systems. Fruit quality improvement, including improved in size, weight, uniformity in appearance, market acceptability, and reduced. And of course, somehow how in many crop like in a pomegranate, these bioactive compounds were decreases in a particularly in using these protected. Although in a pomegranate, whatever Mridula variety they analyze, they also reported once they're using whatever the open condition they are getting good bioactive profile, but under the protected structure they found the lower content, lower amount of the bioactive compound under protected structures. So now the people are also using this retractable roof greenhouse for protected cultivations. So roofs are used rolling polythene for flexible coverage. So see the using the advantages of the open conditions as well. So optimize photosynthesis and beneficial stress, improving plant strength and resistant to the disease and pest, and shield leaves and roots from the cold, heat, rain, and winds. It exposes plant to direct sunlight in the morning and afternoon while diffusing excessive midday light. So whatever beneficial things we are getting, then again we are protecting our crown from the harmful thing, like during the midday, whatever the intense light, and so we want to protect those harmful things. So we are covering or we are using such kind of cladding materials, or you can say systems. So supports outdoor like transpiration rate with optimum solar radiations, wind and humidity. Adjustable wall regulate air exchange. Leaf and soil temperature are controlled by adjusting the roof and walls. So whatever we want to take benefits of the natural conditions, and of course eliminate the other harmful from the natural situations through using these protected structures. That now the people are calling uh, photovoltaic model. Okay, so again they want grow intended to minimize the use of commercial electricity. So everywhere that is a concern. So we should develop the sustainable approach. So now the photovoltaic modules are there. So greenhouses at remote area are often inaccessible to the power lines, so that is a major hurdle. So arid, semi-arid, tropical regions are particularly suitable for photovoltaic voltaic electricity productions. Pad and fan cooling and fogging can be powered by PV generated energy. So a semi-transparent photovoltaic module shed only a fractions of the incident solar radiations and can maintain the uniformity of light distribution over the greenhouse, could be feasible through using these kind of sustainable greenhouse modules. So see here, this is a vineyard that is they are growing in a particularly, this is from Greece. So they have raised or they are established vineyard under these modules. Of course, there is a soilless cultivation. So there is a hydroponics, and now people are having approaches like hydroponics and aeroponics. So soilless media, of course, soil is harboring many soil-borne problems like disease and pest are there. So using hydroponics, so this problem could be uh, stopped or minimized. So now the people are targeting soilless culture. So so there is a soilless culture in the fruit crops. They see in a early sweet varieties, the highest grape yield, that is a 38 tons per hectare, was obtained in perlite peat medium. And another is a pineapple. Hardening of microplant in hydroponics ensured the survival of 100% of the plants within 1 month. Indicators of shoot length, root length, and plant mass gradually increased. So they observed the good hardening, because during the hardening the mortality rate was higher in many of the fruit crops. Fig increasing feed production up to 18-fold compared with the total that obtained in the ground, saving water, fertilizer, pesticide with lower plant management cost. Another is strawberry. pH of 6 was evaluated at optimum for anaerobic cultivation of the strawberry, which resulted in a better quality fruits. So these are the benefits how we are going for soil to soilless culture. Another hydroponic system, the people are taking the advantages of growing soilless media while providing substrate of coco peat, perlite, vermiculite, and of course the nutrient, whatever as per the requirement of the crop. So now they are getting good growth and development in the plant, and of course yield and quality. Particularly among the fruit crops, the people are mostly trying or whatever they're making experiment with the strawberry crops. And of course this is the new development. You can see here soilless system with the pots for the grape cultivation. One is from Manisha Viticulture Research Institute that is located at Turkey. Another is from Mexico. How the peoples are growing soilless cultivation of these grapes, and see that there is a substrate, and along with the drips, which is providing nutrition to these plants. Of course, this is aeroponics. So now with the mist of the nutrients, people are able to grow, and these were mainly practiced in case of strawberry. So see here, another important aspect is pest management. Once you grow, somehow once once we are reducing some incidence of some desirable pest, but some pests are arising again due to building the humidity, and so we should have the strategy. So in most of the fruit crops, if you see in the European nations, they have very good the chart, okay, for season-wide chart, how they are making with biocontrol agents. So there are many biocontrol agents. They have a season, their durations, then calendar they have. Okay, so the basic principle is to exclude or make sanitations, selection of resistant variety, then of course biological control, many control biological control agents, and of course luckily we depend on the pesticides. So it is coming in the last, but we should do all these practices for integrated pest management under the protected cultivations. We see the many entomopathogen agent like Beauveria bassiana, Verticillium lecani, Bacillus thuringiensis, and another parasitoid like Trichoderma. It is not only for the protected, but in other cases, in banana, they are using like this Beauveria bassiana, like anything, to control many pest problems. So likewise, we could schedule, and of course, these bioagent helping us to keep our pollinator. Otherwise, whatever the pesticide and other things will come, then the pollinations. Because most of the pollination, if you see the natural condition, Apis mellifera and Apis cerana indica are sorry, mellifera and cerana indica are a major one. So they are of course responsible for the pollination and pollination of many fruit crops. But under protected cultivation, these were means they could not prefer. Okay, to of course they like natural conditions. So there is a suggestions we have to go for other pollinators like bumblebees, carpenter bees, sting bees, syrphid flies, and many other ones, and see how we can go, how we can depend under the protected cultivation for the effective pollinations. So there is a cladding materials and high placements, and of course selection of the pollinators, and of course we should also attract the pollinator through using some nectar producing plants, and of course the judicious use of biocontrol agents. Otherwise we are helpless to do pesticide, then that is a detrimental for our pollinators. So we should be cautious enough to using pesticide to manage our pollinators. So of course, these are about some glimpses, whatever I read and what during, and of course from some is from our Indian sites and some is from other countries. Of course, now in the coming future, these protected cultivation will be really helpful for getting quality produce, and of course getting good yield and improving productivity, because climate change is a continue. Okay, that will hamper our crop either any stage of the crop development, either it is for growth and development, flowering and fruiting, and again at the fruiting, then quality development. So the protected, of course, from that varies from maybe from semi to fully structure. Of course, that will depend upon our affordability and profitability. So the major limitation, if I see the higher initial cost, it incur another cost. So itself our fruit is required high initial cost as compared to other crops. So then again we are going for protected, then it is again, of course it will increase the cost of cultivation, but in terms of quality and other thing, it will be really helping to the growers. High level of SQL requirement, composite requirement of dwarf fruit stock, or some varieties specific to the protected cultivation that is required in fruit crops. There is also increased incidence of mites and powdery mildew. So some other problems are rising. Once we are controlling one problem, then some problems are again coming. So we should have the better management plan or do more experimentation. So we have agro practices within a protected cultivation. We have a sound agro practices that could rid of those problems. Little or no natural pollinations for the fuel. Really, pollination is still that there is many strategy that people are opting, but pollination is a really problem, and our fruit crops are really required cross pollinations for better quality and yield. So skilled knowledge required and training and pruning is must, because some of the crops is require good pruning, but some crop is bearing on the old growth, so that is a really need to be devised within a protected cultivations. So there is a future thrust we necessary to improve the productive growth through technology advancement. Definitely, of course, we use different kind of cladding materials and structures. There is a need to develop area-specific, most appropriate, efficient, and affordable protective structure with a cheaper and durable cladding materials. And in India, it is in nascent stage, of course, in food crops. Really, we hardly practice for only few crops, some semi or partial structures, or partially the material are at low cost we are arranging for just protecting our crops. And development of the suitable varieties for protected cultivations, various subsidy, of course, some policies required, and we are able to fully utilize these protected cultivation. So, dear participant, this is just a glimpses how the people are techniques throughout the globe. And nowadays, coming future definitely will come up with a more sound technology, and people will use it for getting